Hi students, today's activity is going to be the role of banks in the economy. So money is a medium of exchange and the basis of the modern economy. Banks play a huge role in the distribution of funds throughout society. Although there are many institutions involved in the movement of money, banks remain the fundamental way to flow of money locally, nationally, and globally. Banks play the critical role by performing services essential to the functioning of our economy. Those 4 practices that I may have mentioned in my last video, safeguarding, transferring, lending, and exchanging money, along with evaluating creditworthiness, are its main focuses, and that's what we'll talk about today. First, keeping your money safe. So safeguarding the holdings of people's money may be the oldest bank function. Long before banks existed, people looked for ways to secure their valuables, whatever the medium of exchange was at the time. You may think of a bank vault or a safe deposit box when you think of safeguarding your money. And those on-site measures are certainly ways that banks protect your valuables, but there are much more ways that they're safeguarding your money. And simply just recording and keeping an accurate record is an important part of security or securing your money. Banks devote much time and attention to both the practice and technology of maintaining and storing accurate records. You should expect them to keep careful tracking of your money and know when it's coming in and when it's going out. Another thing they do is identification is an important security function because of identity theft. So when you want to put money into the bank, they don't typically ask for your ID, but if you ever withdraw money, they definitely should be asking for your driver's license to make sure that you are the person that is connected with the account to be taking money out. Enforcement is another part of safeguarding your money that involves catching those who attempt to take it. Not only does this function involve physical security, but it also includes tracking down fraud, making collections, and pursuing legal actions against those who inflict losses on the bank. Transfer security is important to banks. Although cash is still an important part of bank transactions, most money moves merely on a computer screen these days. So high-tech security measures are increasingly more critical to banking operations, between banks and customers, between banks, and even between banks and the government. And then just sound business practice to safeguard your money. Most of these involve good judgment and management of daily bank operations. Banks invest time and money to train employees in procedures and practices. So training goals including ensuring accuracy and encouraging good decision-making are definitely taught and respected among banking. Finally, reviewing federal and state bank examiners closely review the records of banks to protect consumers. There are examinations that include not only the accuracy of records, but also the prudence of banks' policies. So they want to know how risky the bank is in lending money and putting money in the stock market. Another part of banking is the spreading of the wealth or transferring. So the banks are critical to the economy. Although there are many ways that money moves around the economy, banks play that central role in establishing financial environment, transferring money to provide growth and stabilizing the monetary supply are important functions performed by banks. So lending by banks makes money available to consumers and businesses to make purchases that they may not be able to do otherwise. So banks help determine the creditworthiness of prospective customers so that good money is not lost on bad loans. So banks move money. They move it between banks and individual customers and between banks and the industry and also between banks and the government. Sometimes the sums involved are huge. So this motion of money throughout the nation and the world allows businesses to access capital. And with capital, you can invest, businesses can expand, job creation occurs, products get manufactured, services are performed, and the economy grows. This large-scale transfer of assets is a feature of the modern economy, particularly in an age of fierce competition and globalization. Industries seek out financing wherever they can find it, and banks seek out investment opportunities whenever they can find it. The ability to transfer sums of money between financial institutions safely and effectively depends on the stability of the institutions, the stability of the countries where the banks reside, and the security of the money supply itself. Lending. Need a new car, need a house, reach into your wallet. Can you pull out $28,000 for a car, $150,000 for a house? Do you have $246,000 in your piggy bank for both? Most people don't. And of course, the bank lending is the main reason that people are able to own homes and cars without waiting forever to buy them. So lending makes up most of a bank's business. So many banks' deals are more complex than just buying an auto or owning a house. But banks lend money to businesses and governments in a wide variety of ways. Credit cards are issued by banks too, so I'm not sure you knew that. And they are not the only good business for the bank. They help the economy. So people buy things with credit and keep merchandise and moving and manufacturing, producing at a more rapid rate than if transactions had to all be taken place with cash. Home loans still constitute an important part of the banking business. Loan decisions need to be made in a healthy, rational way to borrowers who are qualified for the loans they obtain. We watched that video on the mortgage loan crisis, the financial crisis of 2008, where it illustrates the fundamental importance of a healthy, stable mortgage market. As the mortgage market crisis escalated, it was just a ripple effect on the economy. People want to own their own homes and will work hard to do so, but matching the appropriate loans to qualified buyers facilitates long-term home ownership. So a healthy housing economy provides jobs for people who construct and furnish and repair those homes. Workers in construction industries want homes built and finished and repaired, and without bank lending, the cycle would be far smaller and slower. So the American economy has grown with the housing market. Creditworthiness. Creditworthiness is, terminology-wise, creditworthy customers have a good credit rating, sufficient collateral for loans, and an ongoing income source sufficient to make timely loan payments. Eventually, evaluating the creditworthiness of a customer is needed in banking. Whether they are large industries or governments or even individual consumers, it's critical that a bank function on giving loans to the right people. If banks were to overextend themselves with uncollected loans, they could begin to fail. And if they fail, the economy is at risk. And again, we saw that in the crisis where the mortgage loan crisis began and the American economy was on a brink of recession because people just stopped paying their loans and then banks didn't have money to operate. So it says banking policies and regulations regarding creditworthiness and the ratio of loans to deposits helps guarantee a secure financial environment. So what is a credit rating? You may be asking. And we'll talk about this on Personal Finance Fridays, but how to understand your credit score, it's basically a 3-digit number. Okay, and it can be, I'm trying to find if there is the ratio. I believe it goes up to 850. Yeah, so your score is typically from 300 to 850. The credit bureaus calculate the score based on how effective you've been on paying back your loans on time, how many accounts you have in good standing. Your score will never factor into personal information, but as a starting out kiddo, even just a young adult, you're not going to start out at 300, which is the worst, but you'll probably start out around 500. The better the credit score, a lot can happen to you. So if you want to check this out on the slide, feel free to do that. How to obtain the best credit score. I have an infographic for you here. Let's pull that up. All right. Allow. So basically, your credit score is made up into these 5 different areas. Your payment history is huge. The amount that you owe in credit is huge. And then you have 3 others that types of credit you've used, new credit, the length of your credit history. So really, it's these 5 fundamental factors that make up this 3-digit score for you. And then the differences between credit scores, and again, we'll go into further info on this on a Personal Finance Friday, but this is basically showing you that if you have a bad credit score, look how much they're going to charge you for an auto loan based on if you're in good standing. It's going to save you a lot of money on your interest rates if you have a good standing versus a bad standing. So what makes a piece of green paper that was handed to the cashier worth $20? The government guarantees the value of money, and the banks back up that guarantee. In the United States, banks and the government work together to form the banking system and to make sure the money supply is adequate, appropriate, and trustworthy. Much of this guarantee is backed through the central banking function of the Federal Reserve. Individual banks also work with the government to implement monetary policy, perform exchange functions for citizens, try to defeat counterfeits of currency, and prevent identity theft. In addition, banks guarantee their own policies, so networks of banks agree to honor credit cards. If you write a check on your account, you can be sure that the recipient of the check will get his or her money from your bank, providing you have sufficient funds. These actions make the transfer of money between citizens and businesses easy, which helps to keep the economy going. And finally, the substance of society. So the functions that banking institutions perform do more than move money through the economy. They also provide a common system. A great part of an economic system is psychological. It is your belief and trust in the financial system that makes you willing to borrow and pay later for a car, or to invest money in businesses you've never seen, to deposit money in banks that is in turn loaned to people you don't know, or to take on a 30-year mortgage. So just know that banks are at the heart of this financial system, and their effect on your life cannot be calculated. Thanks for watching. We'll talk more in class.